Sold it, sold it, sold it. $600,000. Thank you. Hello, I'm Joe Wilson, president of Wilson Auctioneers Incorporated, and this is David Brewer, our executive broker, and also my son-in-law, and a good daddy and a good husband, I hope.
Well, thank you, Joe.
You better be. We've done this a long time. Wilson Auctioneers was formed in 1960 by my father. I'm a second-generation auctioneer, and now David, through my daughter, is a third-generation auctioneer, and he's got two sons and grandkids that I hope are fourth, maybe fifth and sixth generations.
Joe, folks all the time across the entire state ask us, why choose auction?
It's fast, effective, and efficient, as you well know. You know, somebody can turn a property over to us, and within 30 days we can have it sold, and within a few days after that we can have it closed to cash buyers. There's no contingencies. We use a lot of times, or at least I do, it takes all the weasel clauses out of an auction, out of an offer and acceptance contract. You know, the typical listing offer and acceptance, you know, is they'll give a certain amount of money, but it's subject to financing, it's subject to another property closed, and all of these things are contingencies. Auction contracts don't have any. Sellers love that because, you know, they know when we get an assigned auction contract on auction day, like we did yesterday, for instance. We sold a property yesterday in South Arkansas, and it's closing next week. So, I mean, that's the main reason. It's fast, effective, efficient, and, you know, we attract cash buyers, as you well know. You know, there's no financing. People can finance, and they do all the time, but it's not subject to. So that's just another contingency that it takes out. So, you know, when you turn your property over to Wilson Auctioneers, we're going to find qualified people that'll show up on auction day. Just like yesterday's, a prime example, we had an auction, we had 144, was it?
144, yes sir.
144 registered bidders, and so, I mean, tell me another way you can, a property that's about 5 miles down a dirt road, beautiful place once you got there, but it was what we say in the boondocks.
It was definitely in the boondocks.
It was in the boondocks, and so, and have 144 registered qualified bidders to show up, that speaks for itself.
Sure. A lot of people ask us too, you know, are you selling foreclosures or bank-owned properties or things like that? And, you know, that's one of the biggest misconceptions about what we do as a company. Exactly,
because we actually sell very few of those. You know, sure, we can sell bank foreclosures and bankruptcies and distressed type properties, but the fact of the matter is, I think you and I were talking yesterday, we actually conducted actually sold 124 properties last year at auction 2017 with a nearly a 93% success rate, which means we put SOLD on those properties, the vast majority of them. And the main reason we did was, again, back to what we do, you know, people choose us not because they're in trouble. They choose us as a first resort, not a last resort.
Sure.
Now, occasionally, do we sell distressed properties? Absolutely we do. But the vast majority of what we do are for individuals just like are watching this show right now that, hey, I've got a house for sale, I've got a farm for sale, I've got a commercial building for sale, I've got a piece of hunting property I don't use anymore. All of those are properties, and I know talking about that, people ask all the time too, well, what property is the best type property to sell at auction?
Yeah, just like with anything, when you're selling at auction, something that's either rare or unique is obviously going to draw a bigger crowd. It's something that's a little bit outside the norm, and we've been able to, with, like you said, farms, you know, luxury homes, lake homes, things like that, attract
large
those people.
development
tracts, things like that, really pull in a lot of bidders from outside of the area.
You know, we're not here to talk down the typical listing agent out there.
Just a different method.
It's just a different method. It's what I used to say, it's like another arrow in your quiver of arrows. If you're an archery shooter, you know what I'm talking about. That we're just another arrow in that quiver that gives that seller an opportunity to choose between possibly us.
Absolutely. So, we're going to continue to go in depth on the different types of auctions you have and discuss the multi-par method and then why to choose Wilson Auctioneers.